Call this meeting to order. Welcome to a special council meeting on November 30th at 6:30. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off, and we'll start off with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Reed. Here. Brown.
Here.
Decker.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
French.
Here.
Domingo.
Here, thank you. Mayor and council members' comments. Are there any comments this evening from the council? See none? Yes.
I just wanted to let the council know that as you're aware, we had an issue with City Hall, having title to City Hall, and that issue has been rectified as of late last week. We now have clear title to the property. An issue that was 80 years in the making and is now no longer an issue.
We now own the building.
Yeah. We're no longer squatters.
We can all sleep better at night now. Thank you. If that's all, we'll move on to presentations. We have a couple Boy Scout presentations this evening. Kim Kresge, front and center, please. City of Albion Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Tommy. Did I just say Timmy? Yeah. Excuse me. Tommy Kresge, who, for his Eagle Scout project, recognized a community need, recruited several members of the Troop 158, scouting parents and grandparents to assist with the project. Tommy acted as a project manager and was able to see the project to fruition by arranging for materials and personal scheduling. The project included the repair of the stone bench, building new steel anchors for the railing, replacement of the wood in the bench, painting and repair of steps, bike rack, and waste can. Awarded this 30th day of November 2016 by me, Mayor Joe Domingo. We thank you very much.
I don't know, I'm not very good with words. I really enjoyed this project, and it was a very large project for me. And my friends who have completed their Eagles also told me it's a very large Eagle Scout project in general. But we ended up doing it, and I'm very proud of everybody who helped me, myself, because I didn't think I could do it. After a while, I was getting, yeah, it was a lot of work, but we did it.
Why don't you tell them how old you are?
Oh, I'm 15.
Wow.
Great, and this was in front of City Hall. For the ones that didn't know, that project was done by them. The next certificate is for Dave Huber. The City of Albion Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Dave Huber and Boy Scout Troop 158 for recognizing a community need and recruiting and effectively repairing the stone bench in front of City Hall, building new steel anchors for the railing, replacement of the wood in the bench, painting and repairing the steps, bike rack, and waste can. Awarded this day, 30th day of November 2016 by me, Joe Domingo. Any words from you today?
Yeah, when you started saying recruiting, I was saying we're finding it more difficult to recruit scouts now that this grade school's left.
I mean the sixth graders.
Oh.
So, if you know any young boys in town, the ages of 11 and 17, it's a great program.
We will see what we can do about getting those young men to know that. And you have an announcement? Go ahead.
I just wanted Dave to clarify something for us. What exactly does it take to become an Eagle Scout before you do your project?
You have to be a Life Scout to do your Eagle project.
Right. And how many
How many merit badges?
merit badges?
I think 11 merit badges.
He's well over the number that he actually needs to become
25
able.
at the moment, 21.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it's a huge amount of work before they ever do the Eagle project.
You have an announcement you wanted to make. She told me earlier, I can't remember though, about your Eagle Scout presentation and things that are coming up.
Oh, yes. I wanted to let everybody know, I told Cheryl, but I wanted to let the future mayor as well and you know, because I would like you both to come, being as you were here at the time of the project. We will be having, once he's completed his last 2 merit badges and goes through his board of review, his court of honor. I don't know that date yet. When I find out, Cheryl will know. So, and I will be sending word out because I think everybody knows my dad, Jim Leonardson, so, but we will get word out. And you're more than welcome to come. I would like Cheryl to speak and Joe, it would be nice, and if you would like to say a word, that would be great. So you guys are all welcome to come and be part of that. So, okay, thank
Sounds
you.
good. Thank you. That ends our presentations for tonight, so we'll start with citizens' comments. Person addressing the city council shall limit their comments to agenda items only and to no more than 5 minutes. Proper decorum is required. Are there any citizens' comments on the agenda for this evening? See none. Moving on. Consent calendar. I will look at A, B, and C, the approval for study session of minutes November 16th, November 21st, and November 21st. We will vote on them all at once. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved and supported. Are there any questions or anything on any of the three? See none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Passes. Thank you. Items for individual discussion. A, request approval of Michigan Municipal League membership dues for $5,601.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Brown. Decker.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
And Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. B, request approval of Resolution 2016-67, contract with MDOT for M99 and Superior Street project.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Are there any questions? Pardon?
Mayor and Council, this is in relationship to the Brick Street, Superior Street reconstruction project that we have been talking about for the past year. And this is the actual contract with MDOT relative to the cost and the cost sharing.
No more questions. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Decker. Kraus.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
And Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. C, request approval resolution 2016-69, approval of the comprehensive plan phase.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Are there any questions? Yes, Garrett.
So in less than a week, a new council is going to be seated. And, I talked with, had a conversation with the manager about this the other day. I know that the new council is going to be approving the budget as well. So I think, if the budget's a one-year, financial policy decision, the comprehensive plan's covers a 5-year period. So I think it would be appropriate to just table it for the new council. So that's my suggestion, so.
Okay. Yes, Maurice?
Well, in looking at the comprehensive plan, I was concerned with some of the language. In some of it earlier, I saw the statement of the greater Albion area. And I'm a big proponent of bringing industrial jobs to the Albion Malibu City. And I would hope that the language would be added within the city limits of Albion and the greater Albion area. Because I talked to the city manager and I said, well, I'm going to ask the council, what is the definition of the greater Albion area? And it really sounds like the metropolitan area or outside the city limits. And I really want to capture taxes. So it might sound like a minor thing, but I would like to see that language in there within the city of Albion and the greater area. And also, I didn't see a lot in Appendix 1 on bringing full employment to the citizens of the city of Albion and the greater area. So I would hope that as we move into different phases, or before this phase is approved, that we would see that planning is in there. Also, I didn't see anything for the classes, and we're a capitalist structure, upper class, middle class, and lower class. I live in the Albion housing projects, and in Chicago, they tore them all down, relocated them, brought them up to state of the art. We have property out by the Highway 94, just behind Precinct 1. I would ask that there be some language in here concerning that type of development strategy, because I'm the president of the Northwest Neighborhood Watch, and most of our members are 75, 85. And as we, earlier this week, they said, well, Maurice, we believe that they're trying to make it a college town, a college retirement town. Some of the same conversations has been going for the years. So I'm saying, well, we need to get meetings and voicing our concerns that this comprehensive plan does address those issues. And finally, as far as tabling it, I feel that with the new coalition coming in as council elected officials, we're going to have positive debate. I believe this coalition may be coming in looking for a different direction for Albion. I believe that I'm going to be looking for voices to go along with mine. And in saying that, I feel that this council has been here attending meetings for this comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission has been here presenting it to us. It's been on notice for more than a year. I was a Planning Commission member and we discussed it. And we are elected officials now to handle the business for the city. And I think that we should make the decision on phase 1. As the other phases come in, those elected officials will be here. I feel that we have done the homework, the Planning Commission has done the homework, and we should be the body elected by the citizens to make the decision in this phase. Thank you.
Any further? Yes, Andy?
Thank you, Mayor. In reading and being involved with seeing drafts of this document for going on 5 or 6 months now, I would say that all of the concerns addressed by Councilman Brown and Councilman Barnes regarding phase 1 are met. I think what I hear our fellow council people asking for are specifics, and this phase 1 does not have specifics. It's not the role of phase 1 to provide detailed specifics. That's what the next phases are about. I think that, in my opinion, the work that has been done for the last year on this comprehensive master plan, I fear will be for naught if we delay and table, especially if what I hear Councilman Barnes saying, suggesting that we may have to redo the entire thing with the new council. So that may not happen, but I don't see why, as Councilman Barnes did say, that as other phases are rolled out, the new elected officials will get to voice their concerns or interests as we move forward with phase 2 and phase 3. So I would vote that this is before us to approve, that we approve it, and that we could then move forward with the next phase, and we can have the dialogue with the newly elected officials once they are appointed. It strikes me that by tabling it, what we're saying is as much as what the Republican Party said regarding Supreme Court nominees, that we wait until the new elected officials to make a decision. This is before us now. We are still the council in the city of Albion. We should be able to vote for it. And so I would encourage us that we do. Thank you.
Yes, Becky?
I would have to respectfully disagree with Councilman French. I feel it's more of a respectful manner to allow the new council, it's only a week, and they take effect, and I think it's a matter of respect, allowing them to have a say in this after the rest of, well, myself steps down, and Cheryl would also be stepping down. I would have to support Garrett on that.
Lynn?
I say also because most of the ones that are the new, going to be, that are the new elected ones have been attending meetings also on this. So they've been keeping themselves abreast of what's going on.
Okay. Did I hear somebody over here?
So I know it came up after the planning commission. If we make any, let's say, any kind of material change to the comprehensive plan, so let's say we made an amendment and added City of Albion and Greater Albion, would that have to go back to planning commission?
That's not changing the goal or objective.
Okay, okay.
The types of comments that you made.
Bronwyn, could you come up to the mic, please, and your name, please?
Rosalind Jones. I've been working with the Planning Commission and the City Council on the draft of the comprehensive plan, sorry. And to Mr. Burns, all of the comments that you made can be incorporated in the document. I guess that's the question that's being asked of me. They're not substantive changes, changing the goals and the objectives.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheryl?
I just wanted to respond briefly and provide a little bit of an update. The Planning Commission did have the public hearing on Monday, and they did vote their recommendation to you as the City Council. And I'm very pleased to say that the council members-elect were also in attendance and even participated in the public hearing. And Councilmember Barnes did contact me in regards to concerns relative to how we define the Greater Albion area. And when I looked at the document itself, the only place I found it was actually within the economic development page, and I believe that language was actually taken from the mission of the Economic Development Corporation, in that it incorporates some parts of the townships, that being Sheridan Township and Albion Township. That was the only place I found where it actually made a reference to the Greater Albion area. However, if there is a desire to be more specific within the body of the document relative to where the energy should be focused, as Rosalind has indicated, that definitely can be accommodated. And we definitely heard from mayor, council, and community members on the need to emphasize the economic development and employment opportunities, and that's clearly identified. And I just did a quick word search, and this job creation and development is mentioned at least 20 times within the document, as well as economic development. So there's clearly a focus on that within how we want to move forward, as well as infrastructure. One of the council member-elects mentioned at the public hearing that we would like to see as one of our objectives relative around healthy lifestyles and alternatives is what can we do as a community to bring in after-hour care or urgent care facilities. So there's a number of things that I think we have all played a part in terms of moving this forward as a document that we can be proud of. It's clearly just the first step. There are definitely additional phases that are going to be ongoing. Especially this first year is going to be very intense as we move forward. So we're looking forward to working together to make some of these things actually happen and not make this just a document that we hang up on a shelf and not do anything with. It has measurable goals and time factors around those goals.
Yes, Maurice?
Well, you stated just what I meant. I don't want it to just be a document that's on paper and we don't have a plan of action implemented. Concerning us not taking action on this tonight, I feel that the coalition coming in could have let us know that they had concerns by coming to the podium under citizens' comments on this item. I didn't know they had concerns, but they did not want us to vote. I didn't hear that until I heard it by rumor, and now I'm hearing it officially tonight. If I'd have had some information from them, maybe, you know, I could have understood, but now the greater Albion area, we have missed out on manufacturing jobs inside. I don't know, well, we just saw a business go out into the Albion Township area outside, which had taken a look at the Albion or Malibu site. And jobs will only come here if they're working through our EDC. And we found out that, you know, we don't appoint the board members, but we don't appoint the CEO itself, so we have to start really taking a good look at who we appoint to the commission to see that the goals of the citizens are being carried through the CEO president. However, with it being a dual payment process with the college and the city, there's a slippery slope in there. You know, we did receive a letter from the president, which we as a body kind of had different opinions on what it meant. I felt it meant one thing, and I'm standing by that. So the new chairman coming in has a seat on that board by charter, planning commission by charter. One of these council members will be appointed to the planning commission. So I just want our ducks in a row, that we are doing everything we can in all phases of this comprehensive plan. The precinct 1 is the target. Jobs come in. Socioeconomic status over there is different. The educational balance is different. I do not want precinct 1 to miss out. That's where I'm coming from, and that's why I'm elected. Thank you.
Garrett, were you making a motion
I was on a motion
to table it?
Yeah, to table it
Okay.
to probably to the 19th.
Okay. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Is that gonna have a roll call? Or do we just go ahead and table it?
It's a roll call vote.
Here's a roll call.
Well, we have the original move and support.
Oh, yeah, you have to vote on the original motion.
I think table
the
might
table
supersedes that.
Either way, it's a roll call vote.
Okay.
The motion to table supersedes the actual motion, so.
Okay, so we're doing the motion, or we're
table.
doing the table.
Right.
Okay,
Correct.
so everybody got that? Councilmember Decker,
Yes.
Kraus,
No.
French,
No.
Barnes,
No?
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
and Mayor Domingo.
Yes. C will be tabled until, what did you say, the 19th you would like that brought back?
Yes.
D, discussion and consideration of moving forward with a single hauler contract.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure where we're at with it.
Yeah, that,
I mean, that's where we were left last time. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I think where we were is that we had voted as a council to approve that the city enter into a contract with a single hauler for the purposes of providing waste and yard waste disposal and perhaps recycling. We had received 3 bids, and so I'm just asking that we move forward. We've approved that process. We have 3 bids. And so I just wanted to bring that back so that we can make a decision about which hauler we're gonna enter into contract negotiations with. Historically, this is Councilman Brown's idea, and so it provides, we've had this discussion about whether we should do it or not. We decided that we are, so I'd like us to move forward so we can have a conversation about the 3 bids that we've all read, and we can make some decisions and move forward.
Lynn?
I'd like to have each one of those callers come in and talk with us.
Okay.
Because I know it's just like, I have reliable, yeah. And every so often, my bill goes up, then when I call in and talk to them, and they're adding on administrative fee, then they're adding on something else, and I just want to know, hear from them, even though I saw what was on the paper. I think they need to come and just let us know what their expectations is and what we should expect from them.
I would half agree and half not, because we've already passed that point.
Yeah.
I thought, and what I mean is, I thought last time we were discussing it with the lowest bid. We discussed everybody in town had different bills, and that our argument was whether it was feasible for them to pick up our recycling or not. I thought we were already at that point. And I'm just saying, it's up to the council how you want to do that, but I'm just saying I thought we were there. We just, because if you added recycling, your bill went up quite a bit. If we didn't, you know, because we do have the recycling here, it leveled out, and I think it was lower for everybody. So I kind of, when I read this, I kind of thought that's where we were at.
Right. And
But
I mean, the way I feel about it, okay, they sat here and we talked it over and everything. They really didn't have a lot to say. And just like first they were putting in gas surcharge, and next thing you know, they put in administrative fee surcharge. And you know, I just really want whoever we're going to select to do it to know exactly what it is, so that every other cycle,
Correct.
You're not going to get something else added.
Right, and I think that's where we were at.
Yeah.
And I don't have the answer to that tonight, so and I think what we could do tonight is if we do the discussion and consider what we had talked about. Now what we need to do is lay what we actually want from the carrier, which I thought we were pretty close to who it was, if I'm not mistaken, which was Granger, because they were the lowest of all of that. So I think that's what we need to bring back on the table. And unfortunately, I don't think we have that down tonight to vote, you know, what they're gonna do, because I don't see a representative here from Granger.
Or a contract, right?
Mayor and council, what, I needed some direction from you relative to what those next steps should be. You did vote to say you want to consider a single hauler, but there wasn't, and we know who the lowest bidder was, but there wasn't clarity on if it should include the recycling services or not. What would be the proposed start date for those services? I'm anticipating around April 1, because that's when their current licenses
And I think
expire.
leaf pickup
Yes.
was also in that too. So what we need to do, I guess, tonight is to vote on to continue the talk, but you need to continue on exactly what, you know, we need to do. Yes, Andy?
So I would like to make a motion that we enter into contract conversations, discussions with Granger.
Okay.
By us approving that, we can then have another meeting in which we approve the actual contract.
Okay, and then Granger can be here to do that. Yes, Colin?
I guess, for purposes of clarity, I think that the council should, and with all deference to Councilman French, it should be, you're voting to award the bid to Granger, and then at your next meeting, you can do your contract negotiations. We want this service, and this service, because if I recall, it was a a la carte type.
Yes.
Type
Correct.
deal. But just for purposes of clarity,
Right,
award the bid,
right,
and then we can deal with the contract afterwards.
right. And any way you slice that a la carte,
It still comes.
Granger came in the
Lower.
lowest of all.
But the,
So, yes.
I would consider the comments of our representative to be a friendly amendment to my initial motion, so. By the city attorney, our council.
Okay, so do you need a vote on that, or do you want to do a roll call under that?
Support for that.
Say again?
You need a support
I haven't, no one
for
supported it.
awarding the bid to Granger.
Okay, we have a motion, now I need a support.
I support that.
Okay? Okay? Everybody understand that? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Kraus,
No.
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
no,
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Decker,
Yes.
and Mayor Domingo.
Yes. Even though it'll be the new council. Sorry. So, E, discussion/approval, second addendum to the City of Albion Senior Citizens Housing Facilities Trust.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Questions? Yes.
Why?
So essentially what we came to find out that I didn't know and our finance director didn't know and our manager didn't know is that we were under the impression that the Albion Trust was managing both Firehouse bonds and the Maple Grove bonds. Apparently it's not managing any bonds.
Say it again.
So,
And not to be rude, but
So
if
no-
we wouldn't have waited till the 11th hour, we would have found this information out a year ago when I asked us to look into it. So now we're caught. My recommendation would be to wait till next meeting when Chuck Robinson is gonna be here to explain that trust before anybody votes on anything.
well, what my suggestion was is that to keep the viability of the trust is just to extend it again. And when he's here next week, we can do the actual trust itself.
So,
I've been corresponding with Mr. Robinson and Ms. Lazar about the ins and outs of the trust. So, I mean, the bottom line is though, the last addendum that you did extended it through, I think, the last week of November.
Yes.
Or not all the way to the end of November, but maybe today. And so if we don't extend it, then the trust basically ends again until you have a new one, so that money's just gonna be sitting in limbo with no control over it.
But does they have control over it now?
That's what I said. Garrett,
Today's the
you had
last
your
day
hand
the
up, Garrett.
trust is
But
live.
they haven't been doing anything, no one's been
haven't.
supervising it.
No, they haven't.
so,
Then I'm confused by what the situation is, because I thought you said that no one.
Mayor and council, if I may.
Garrett, you had your hand up.
just two things. So one, yeah, I appreciate, Cullen called me, the other day, gave me a heads up on it, so, but I just wanted to clarify what you're saying is they're not managing the fire station bonds.
They're not,
But are they managing the,
no, neither.
okay,
Mr. Robinson's email to me was that there were no bonds being managed by the trust, quote.
okay.
Which confused me, based on all the conversations that we've had in our understanding, it confused Tom, Cheryl.
Okay.
So, I can't wait to hear what has actually been going on with the trust.
How long did we extend this from the last time?
The last time, a month. That's what this next one does, a month, because he's coming to talk to us on
When did the first one that we extended end?
today.
November 3rd.
Today. All right, thank you. All right, so now, yes, we have to extend it for another 30 days.
Do we have to revoke the revision that we
No.
approved? Okay.
It was
No,
never
because it
constituted.
hasn't been signed by the trustees, so
Okay.
we'll just vote on
Exactly.
the new one. I've already made amended changes to
I
it, so
just-
it's ready to go.
Right, I just want the second one to be an extension of 30 days. You know, that's all, until you guys get a chance to talk to Mr. Robinson and Ms. Lazar.
So, and just to be clear, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes?
So I know, Councilmember Decker had the, question about, so basically what's happened is the trust was, so I think what happened is, so the trust was set up probably like 20 years ago, right? It expired this year. We had to make a decision about whether to keep it or not. And we had several concerns about, you know, the board members reappointing themselves and those kinds of things. So we worked that out. The agreement that we voted on a couple meetings ago. But since then, based on what Mr. Harkins has said, I guess a couple things have happened. So one is we've learned that it's not being managed the way we thought it was being managed, but then also, I guess, a conflicting report from some of the trustees. So I think what we're doing right now, I guess, is just to extend it for a month so we can sort things out. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mayor and council, if I might, there's been a lack of clarity relative to the terminology around the assets that are held by the trust. And we had been under the impression that they actually held the bonds. However, it became, was shared with us through our council that in fact these are not held, but these are just part of the investments that they hold. So there's a distinction, and we're looking forward to speaking with Attorney Robeson on Monday in regards to just understanding the history of how we arrived where we are and what is the best structure going forward. So what is being proposed to current and future mayor and council is that on December 5th, there will be a work session with the Attorney Robeson, who's a trustee on the Albion Trust, and then assuming that we have agreement relative to the language, that will then appear on the next council agenda on December 19th. So the extension is being requested until November 30th with the current trust in place.
Yes, I'm awake.
And I just wanted the council to be aware, so what I've done is I've taken the exact same agreement that you've approved, and I've removed the modifications relative to the fire barn, so that it only addresses the Maple Grove again, but it still has the modifications as it relates to the terms, the no self-appointments, the additional information at the request of council, et cetera, et cetera. So that's ready to go, barring some unforeseen information from Chuck Robinson.
So in hand, what we're doing tonight is extending this for 30 days.
Correct.
Okay? No changes or anything else until the new council gets to listen to the presentation on the 5th of December. So, okay? We'll have a roll call vote on extending the City of Albion Senior Citizens Housing Facility Trust for 30 days from this date. So that'll make it December 30th or whatever it's gonna be. 31st. So, did I get a motion?
Yes, you did.
Can we have a second? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember French.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Decker.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
And Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. All members are here, so we don't need to excuse anybody. Citizens' comments, persons addressing the city council shall limit their comments to no more than 5 minutes. Proper decorum is required. Are there any citizens' comments this evening?
One, and I'll be quick. Amy DePraise from the Economic Development Corporation here. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to the current council, mayor and council, and it's been a pleasure working with you, and that I am eager to work with the new council once they're seated very soonly. So that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
I do want, oh, I should have said this earlier. I apologize. Mr. Pasek always mentions it to me whenever I bump into him, and something I'm gonna bring up when we hopefully have more conversations with MDOT about maybe looking, when they have to do the detours, about what we can do, maybe the route that takes, maybe try to negotiate some kind of improvements to those areas, so, I thought I probably should have brought that up, and that crossed my mind, so.
You're gonna have most of the winter to have that laid out.
Yeah.
In the, proper directions and things that are gonna take place and things like that. So if you have something, Frank, you gotta come forward, please.
Frank Pasek, 900 South Eden Street. I was actually the photographer for the last project back in 1994, and I took a lot of photographs of wooden sewers and wooden conduit under the Superior when they dug up certain areas. And I have a couple of concerns. If you notice in front of Homestead Savings Bank, the brick is collapsing. That's a brand new base there. That's not the 1940 base. That's the 1994 base that they put there. And so You know, we can blame the 1940 base where the 1940 base is, but we can't blame it for where the new base is. I'm wondering if MDOT has taken into consideration the type of traffic that is going through there, that they better have a base that's not going to collapse in 10, 15 years. I just mentioned that. Anyway, back to what Garrett said. I live on South Eaton Street, and I'm assuming the detour route's going to go right past my house. And we actually didn't have that much problems with it, but Eaton Street is starting to get, it has a cement base, but it's needing some work on it, to patching, and at the corner of Eaton and Oak, as you know, there's that storm manhole in the middle that's sunk. You always hit it with your car. Cars go to the left, cars go to the right, and there's needs some issues there. They also had a four-way traffic stop, full traffic stoplight by Peabody Place, that sort of thing. Since this is a state highway, will be a temporary state highway. I'd like to ask the council if they can find some way to get some funds from the state to maintain and get that road up to snuff for that period. I do know last time they paid for widening Irwin and Eaton Street, the intersection, and that sort of thing. But at least that first couple blocks of Irwin Avenue and then Eaton Street, we could get some work on it, maybe some state funds for it to get that done, because these streets do need it. And after all, we are paying for a lot downtown already, and if we could get their help on that detour route, particularly with the amount of traffic that's going to be having during that period, it would be appreciated. And I think we need to be more aggressive with the state in trying to get some funds for some of our streets and that are going to be used for that. So that's my comments tonight. Thank you.
I'm sure the new council will get right on that, Frank.
Yeah, I know. But listen, as I'm going to say, as a council, I guess you guys are leaving pretty soon. So I think you guys have done a good job. Thank you for the work you've done for the city. One thing I've always liked about this council, they've kept us out of debt. We can be thankful that we're not like other cities around us that owe a lot of money. And so at least it's better to have no money than be in the hole. And you guys have done a good job, and hope the new council keeps it up. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens' comments tonight?
Marcola Lawler, 918 North Berrien Street. I just want to bring one thing to the council's attention when we're thinking about this comprehensive plan. I talked to a resident in the 4th precinct, and he had a concern about children that were vandalizing his home, and children just out walking around, just period. And he had asked if there was any person or organization in the Albion community that could help these kids and try to get them on the right track and get them something to do. That will be a concern that is addressed of his. Double Vision has noticed a couple things in the newspaper of some children that have come through the organization and were crying out for help. It's really hard to help when you don't have the necessary tools. I won't go into a lot of detail for privacy reasons, but when you have an incident over here at the park where a guy got shot over there, but he used to attend the Double Vision and cried out for help, or a guy that come from the Albion Housing Commission to do work to keep his home or keep his mother in the home from the Albion Housing Commission Community Service. There was a guy recently that I'm sure everybody have saw it through the internet and on the paper. He was one that came to us asking for some kind of help, not the particular help that he got in trouble for, but it's really hard to see these young people just go on the way they do, and they don't have anyone to turn to. So if we could really help Double Vision some type of way to get open, and whether it's through fundraisers or anything like that to help these children, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? If not, I'd like to take a 10-minute break.
You got to adjourn first.
Thank you.
So moved.
Right after we adjourn, I'd like to take a 10-minute break before we start on the other agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, please.
Did you get it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. See you back here at 25 minutes after 7. Thank you all.